my childhood? Let's see. Racing my bobber for the first time through the hills. Oh, and first kiss in the middle of a synth cornfield.
We nomads choose who to make our family. A choice forges strong bonds and a higher duty that stands solid as an old oak.
My family's in pieces. That's why I'm headed for Night City.
Makes you an outcast among outcasts.
Miss this, you know? Camaraderie.
I know. I saw it in your heart the first time we met. Know what I always liked about nomads? Your taste, no, hunger for freedom. Not easy to come by in Night City. Corp's got their grubby claws and everything.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Rigger Gaming. We're your host Mordon.
And I'm Civi.
We're going to bring you another exciting tale, this time the lore of nomads. Nomads are currently one of the 3 life paths for V in Cyberpunk 2077. To sum it up short, nomads are essentially Mad Max homeless people who travel in deadly caravans for protection or for raiding. Life in the wastelands can be dangerous and unforgiving. You'd need to trust your caravan as kin, and they will place the same trust in you. To see how roving bands of marauders and raiders became the cultural step within the steps of Night City, we will have to start from the beginning.
Guns. Guns inside bikes. That's how we hold the line. We don't got any home, except the caravan. We don't have any rights, except what we take. We get run out of town by the cops. We get raided by the road warrior packs. And we survive because we got guns and bikes. There's kids, old men and women, families here. This ain't no booster gang. These people are my family. Nomad, Santiago. The story of the Nomads began after the event known as the Collapse. The Collapse was a combination of both environmental and economic destruction. The Collapse affected the entire United States, mainly the urbanized environments. The cities, while hit the hardest, were able to still stand due to gratuitous amounts of resources at its disposal. The smaller cities and towns were not so fortunate. This event caused a consolidation of economic power within the big cities, which prompted people of all walks of life to move to these hubs and start their own. This instance is the beginning of nomad life, as people flocked through desolate wasteland to get to a safe city in droves, often attracting certain groups of people who take pleasure in acquiring goods through force. It doesn't stop there. Rampant homelessness ended up as a big problem within these cities. Not surprising considering how many people are flocking to these hubs, more than any city can really handle. With the homeless still homeless, many have stayed within the city's boundaries as roving tribes. With the event of the mob war, and corporations now controlling Night City, more homeless people were casted out as nomads. This was only made worse with corporations buying out homes, farms, and even towns out in the outskirts of Night City, forcing the residents to become part of the nomad people. In the end, nomads became a tribal people, going from place to place, scavenging tech and picking crops for cash and food. They came from all walks of life, such as doctors, mechanics, teachers, medtechs, and anyone who has been casted out.
A nomad's life revolves around the concept of being free, off the grid, and to ride the roads. They adhere to only themselves and their caravan. This is not only their greatest virtue, it is also their greatest weakness as a people. Nomads are not a united people. They have warring tribes that often attack each other, as that's the rule of the wasteland. It's unforgiving. They're also not well loved with other people, as well as from gangs to corpos to even law enforcement. They generally make enemies wherever they go. This reinforces the idea of kinship with their caravans, as they take care of each other as family. A nomad caravan could comprise of up to a minimum of 2 people. But most caravans that make it through the harsh world successfully are about 200. It is rare to get further than that with such hazardous conditions within the steppes and a tight-knit communities. However, there is a nomad caravan that is composed of 1 million people. To keep with their nomadic life, they drive around in vehicles from place to place, scavenging, raiding, picking crops, doing whatever they can to keep the caravan moving. From regular cars to vans to RVs, whatever has wheels and is able to move, they will utilize it. Their vehicles are some of the best, as their lives revolve around driving. They understand how to treat their vehicles and modify it for better performance. They even up-armor their vehicles for better protection against raiders and cops. For defense, they surround their caravans with scouts, leather-armored warriors on bikes and muscle cars. Scouts are given the task of reconnaissance for their caravan, defense of the caravan, and even foraging for food during campsites. Like a union between cowboys and Mongols, they ride through the wastelands with a gun in tow, for that is the nomad way.
The very first notable nomad group was called the Aldecados clan. They were born from Los Angeles, a destroyed war zone of a city. Their source of income revolves around scavenging, manual labor on farms, bootlegging, and transportation of stolen goods. They are often sought out for manual labor the most. One particular instance was to help rebuild a city in Pennsylvania, now known as the Pit. The reach extends far and are still relevant within Night City in the year 2077. They even help out Johnny Silverhand by hiding him. They are the oldest nomad group within the 7 nations, and are often open for trade and deals more so than any other nomad group. The next well-known nomad group of the 7 nations are from Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. They are called the Yodes, former farmers whose lands became a dust bowl during the collapse. They are primarily known for helping the Aldecados during the scavenging of the LA region and building the cultural mindset of the nomad people. On the flip side, to their own dismay, they are also the main reason as to why many law enforcement despise the nomad people. Our next nomad group is another of the 7 nations, known simply as the Bloods. A gang turned nomad. They originally came from Miami, Florida, as a gang composed of Cubans and Haitians. In 1992, with the help of the collapse, they were able to take over all of Miami. And in 1993, the collapse began. It is unsure how the Bloods were able to take over the city using economical and environmental disability a year prior to the actual events. But we may suspect that they actually are time travelers. In all seriousness, however, this might have been a slight canonical error, and that the Bloods took over Miami during the events of the collapse itself in 1993. In 1999, they officially became a nomad gang. They have a great cooperation with the Aldecada clan, and are one of the most prominent traveling entertainers. The Wraiths are one of the worst types of nomad. They fall under the category known as Rafin Shiv, a rogue nomad group that loves to go out and prey on weaker nomad crews. Their beliefs vary from Robin Shiv to Robin Shiv, but typically it boils down to the strong eating the weak. The Yodes may have started the tradition of law enforcement versus nomads. But Raven Shivs continue it. The Raves themselves are opportunistic, as their battle strategy mostly revolves around the concept of hitting a campsite while they sleep. Their leader, Dog Killer, is said to wear the clothes made out of human flesh. It gives you an idea of how deplorable these types of nomadic crews are.
Nomads from 2013 to 2020 seem to have changed very little with the exception of how their abilities play out. In 2013, a nomad could call upon random nomads with his special ability called Family Status to supply him or her resources. This can be in the form of cash, weapons, information, or even a small army of rowdy family members. This ability can be upgraded to extend the amount of family members and resources, eventually leading to the character being a pack leader. In 2020, this ability was changed to simply Family, in which the character with this background can call upon his nomad family, but only up to his family ability times 2. It is slightly less interesting, but also streamlines the problem of 2013. In Cyberpunk Red, they generally fell under the original lore up until Night City Holocaust, the time a nuclear warhead set off in Arasaka Towers. The tribal caravans decided to just unite for some reason and became the lead of vehicular transport. One would think that this would give them a great deal of power considering that they not only control the lands but also the seas as well. But they pretty much don't do anything beyond being a caravan that protects its buyers. There really isn't a mention of who controls the now united tribes, nor any real reason as to why they decide to just unite in the first place. This seems like a big oversight to streamlining the nomads as one giant collective rather than unique tribes within their own customs and own traditions. Perhaps 2077 will explain with the nomad life path, but as of right now, Cyberpunk Red is still in production with only the jumper kit out, and the only real official lore to go off of is 2020. With this all said and done, nomads are still the outcasts of the outcasts, riding through the wastelands with caravans, and the only thing standing between them and Night City is law enforcement.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this lore video. Please give us a like, comment, and if you want to see more Cyberpunk lore videos, then don't forget to smash that subscribe button. See you next time.
Stop playing games. Now run. Straight